Okay, so you've got him running up and around like this. And maybe a few things I want to do. One of them is I'm going to he's taking quite a wide bank as he comes around the corner, so I'm going to pull him in a bit. So I just select both the curves, press F8, make sure that I'm just going to show all so I can see the points. I'm just going to pull these 2 points here in a bit so he's a bit closer. He doesn't need to run quite so far out. Make it a bit more realistic. Okay, so he's running like this and round and then the other way. Okay, so he kind of goes like that and then he goes around the other side. So yeah, so I'm making him go slightly further in there. Now what I would probably do now is I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to have him banking and I'm going to adjust the speed. Before I do that, I'm going to bake him out. So to do that, the easiest thing to do is I'm just going to turn off everything except the NURBS curves. I'm going to select all the NURBS curves, not these paths, and not this one as there's no animation on it, but just his controllers, and I'm going to bake them out. So I'll go Edit, Keys, Bake Simulation. So I'll just bake this out, yeah? Now the first thing that happens of course is now all the animations being baked back onto this character. So in essence, I'm going to say this is a new file. When you always make sure you save before you bake so you can go back to it. If you want to adjust the path and make any alterations, you want to be able to go back to that scene. So I'm going to say this is a new scene. I'll save this as Heavy Path VO3. And I mean, normally I'd probably call it Heavy Path VO3 Bake, just so I know it's a baked scene. But anyway, so there we go. So he's coming around. Now, because I have done that, I can actually get rid of, see this, all these locators now, because all the animation's been actually baked onto this character. All these locators, the path waist, the anim, the pole, the path feet, all these, I can actually get rid of them. I can just delete them because the animation is now, if I go into this character just so you can see it, the animation is now, I'll just make sure you can see the polygons, the animation is now on him. And you can see, but it's baked out in world space, so this is moving forward in the Z. You can see that these feet have these, in the Z they have these animation curves. So I can just get rid of all this stuff, all these locators. And I can delete them all. And I can also delete the curves. The curves themselves, I show you, they're not doing anything anymore because now this character will just run around. He has all that animation baked onto him. Okay? So that's the first thing. I have all the animation. Right now, before I start to try and get the feet not to slip, I'm going to just try and improve this animation by making him bank a little bit. So in order to do that, I can use the anim layers. And first thing I have to do is I just have to put into the layers the controls that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using on him, I'll use everything except, let me take that off as well. I'm not going to be using the feet. So basically I'm using everything. I've selected by drawing a marquee around all the controls from the waist upwards, and I'm going to put these in a separate layer, pressing this button here, and I'll call this, it's called anim layer 1, I'll call it bank anim layer. Okay, and there's no animation on that. We've got all the animation for the actual animation on this one, and this one I'm just going to use it for banking him slightly. Okay, so, and of course this animation here is keyed out on every frame because I keyed it so that it would, when I went to edit, key, and I went to bake simulation, I think I did it here. There's two ways. You can go key and then bake simulation, or you can go edit key bake simulation. And I baked it out with every frame to make sure that it was all baked out. Yeah. So I've got my animation baked out on him, but I want him to bank slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, see where he's running to. I'm going to go like this to see what's happening. So I'm going to have him, this control here on the bank anim layer. I'm going to say key it here. Always key it before you start animating it, so that as you have a, your zero reference point. I'm going to turn him around this way a little bit, giving a bit of time so it can make that. I may also key this again, this control, and then I'm going to pull this over a little bit as well, so he's not just turning this way. He's also this, so something like this, and looking in this window too, so I can see what he's doing. So you got this. You see that little nudge of the shoulder makes it look a bit more realistic. So then I come back and I'm going to be keying this again. I'm just really using this control. You can start using different ones. So I'm going to key this, making sure it's on the bank animation layer. Make sure you're on the right layer. You don't want to key on this layer with all the different keys on it. We've got all these keys because we baked them out doing the bank layer. So I'm going to have him, keyed him again, and I'm going to have him coming around. It's got to come around quite sharpish on this one, and I'm going to pull the body in as well, so the whole thing is, zoom in a little bit here, I'm going to pull the body over, and I'm going to tip this guy this way a bit. Okay, so it's quite a sharp turn. And looking again in this window, because this is where the animation is really, so we want to, and then I want him turning in still more here, so I'm going to pull him over more, dropping that shoulder. Wait a minute, let's see. Dropping that shoulder, and I'm going to go to this one again. Important to make sure you're keying it before you start moving it, just so you're not, because otherwise you're going to key that for the whole animation. So I'm going to key that there like this, and I'm going to take that back. So rotate X, I'll take that back to 0. Or does it rotate Z? I'll move to rotate Z. Take it back down. And there's also this on the bank anim layer, which I'm going to try and resolve. So I have this coming around, and I'll have these. If I press a key here, I can see I can pull this stuff, pull this back. I can see that these ones I need to rotate back. So I'm going to rotate this one back as well to rotate while all these rotations that I've made, I want to try and rotate them back, and maybe it goes on a bit more, and I can pull this back, zero it out so he's upright again. So you can see where these points have been made, and you can, maybe I'll pull this back a bit like this, so you end up with this. So he comes round and he's banking.